Because your attention is right here. You're thinking about, okay, the next sentence I'm going to alter is, Brandon, open your eyes. So when you feel anxious, especially extremely anxious, you will shut down your communication ability. Just like this mummy, you make yourself blind. Anxiety will make you blind. So that's the reason we have to be more aware of anxiety. And so now, the first thing we can do is acknowledge your anxiety. Because one professor just told me, he had the chance to talk to a famous person. And this person, he just said, I have a secret I have never told anyone. And the secret is that only God knows how nervous I am each time I speak on the stage. And please help me to keep this secret. Do you know who's this guy? The presentation master, Steve Jobs. Even he felt anxious when he spoke on the stage. So the question is, it's normal to feel anxious. It's okay to feel anxious when you speak on this stage. But the question is, how can you wrestle with your anxiety? How can you use strategies to deal with your anxiety? So now, because anxiety is kind of like your Achilles heel, because you guys are all warriors, your Achilles heel will be your greatest weakness. And according to some research, I'm going to show you some common Achilles heel. And maybe you can write them down, maybe you have some of them. The first one is grammatical mistake. Since English is a foreign language for us, it's hard to think in English. And sometimes you might be really aware of your grammatical mistakes. That's the reason you feel anxious. And when you make grammatical mistakes, you might think your audience is giving you a negative evaluation. And even sometimes your audience is like they are thinking in a deeper way. They might frown a little bit and tilt their head and cross their arms because they are thinking. But you might think, okay, they are giving me a negative evaluation that makes you feel anxious. So it's hard to tell whether they are thinking or whether they are evaluating you. But the best way is to get to know, be aware of this factor. And the third one is willingness to communicate. If you are willingness to communicate, you need to have the desire and the confidence. Maybe you have the confidence to organize your content in a logical way, and you have the desire. I remember a few years ago, when I was a college student, that was the first time I joined a class called public speaking. And I didn't like speaking in front of public because I think like people are giving me a negative evaluation. But while I was giving a speech, and the girl, the most beautiful girl in the classroom, was sitting there, and she was looking at me like this. And I was looking at her for almost like 8 seconds. That gave me the desire. I want to keep talking. So since I'm an introverted person, I don't like to speak in front of people. But that girl just gave me the desire and gave me the confidence, because when I spoke, she was willing to listen. You know, I was wondering, maybe after my speech, she will come to talk to me. But that didn't happen. So I felt a little bit disappointed. But it's okay, because she changed the way I perceive myself. That's about my self-concept. Because in the past, I think like people might tell me, my friends will tell me, Brandon, you don't know how to give a presentation because you just read all the information from the slide. You even don't exactly know how to put them in your own words. But after that event, that girl gave me the confidence, gave me the desire. So I changed the way I perceive myself. And then that influenced my perception. So that's the reason I became an English teacher. I have never imagined to become an English teacher, even a teacher. Yeah. I used to have a dream like I want to be an entertainer, like a Jackie Wu, to make people laugh. But now I changed my dream. So the fourth one is perfectionism. Sometimes we might set higher standard for ourselves, especially competition season is coming, right? So you might set a higher standard for yourself. Even some, I won't say unrealistic goals. You say, I want to be a world champion in 2019. It might be possible, but you need to set some short-term goals. Like you need to be the champion in Taiwan, and then you represent Taiwan to compete in the national stage. So try to make your goals more like a short-term goals. Many short-term goals will help you to achieve your long-term goal. And the next one is speaking on the spot. Later we have impromptu session. Impromptu session is the most intimidating one because you have to think on your feet. While you're thinking, you're talking. So you're not sure the next sentence, the next word, the word choice you're going to use. You have to take risks to put yourself in that trouble. But once you practice that, just like Andrew said, once you practice that, you will get to know how to organize your content in a logical way in that short amount of time. And so that's one self-concept. Your past experience, your present experience might influence your future experience. So since all the factors, they are all the common factors, and I have experienced all of them. So maybe you can check like which one you have from 1 to 6. Which one influences you the most? And since we get to know the factors that cause our anxiety, now we need to heal our heel. The first heel is a verb called cure. Cure your Achilles heel, because your Achilles heel is your greatest weakness that will hold you back. So what you can do is to replay and think aloud. Do you have a habit of recording your speech? Raise your hand if you have a habit of recording your speech. Only one, David. So when you record your speech, will you try to replay your speech? Or you just have fun? Just record it and then set it for the future. Will you replay your speech? So when you replay your speech, you have the chance to do think aloud. Think aloud, you will see the word aloud. That means you have to make some noise and think. Think aloud, that means normally when we are thinking about something, the thoughts are inside your head and you don't have the chance to make them visible to others. But if you can invite your mentor or your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or even your dog, and they can be a listener. When you replay your video, first you have to record the video, record your speech. And then when you go back home, you replay the video, you invite your friend, your dog, and then you can use think aloud to make your thinking visible. Just like having a self-talk, but this time you are watching, you have a material. Video is your material, and you try to express all your thoughts about this video. You might say, okay, right now because I am replaying the video and I saw the green card. So that's the reason I felt a little bit anxious because time is limited. And so how can I use some strategy to deal with my anxiety? And about this part, how did I feel? And what did I do? And how can I further do something? So you have the chance to further reflect on your video, on your speech. So think aloud is something that I will highly recommend you if you feel anxious when you speak. Next time, remember, record your speech and then use think aloud. When you are watching the video, you think aloud. Okay, this part, I think I was aware of a grammatical mistake since I made some mistakes. And that's the reason I started to speak in a rush way. And also your audience, you have, not audience, you have your friend, right, or your dog. And they can listen to your thoughts. They know what you are thinking. So they might have a discussion with you about some strategies, how to deal